Okie dokie. So I got a question from a viewer on, are skills actually good for muscle building, right? And I just need to say, yes, they are amazing for muscle building, because what do you need to build some muscle is you need some intensity, right? And you need a big load on the muscle. And I feel like when people talk about building muscle with calisthenics, they have this imagination of, oh, you have to do hundreds and thousands of reps and push-ups and pull-ups, right? And it's like the argument is like you can't build muscle with calisthenics because nobody wants to do that many reps and nobody wants to do, such long, tiring workouts when it can be much more efficient, right, with low rep sets, like in the gym. But they fail to understand that skills are some of the heaviest loads, put some of the heaviest loads on your body, right? How many people can do a full planche workout, a full front lever workout lightly, right? It's difficult, right? If you can do hundreds and hundreds of reps of planche push-ups or planche presses or front lever pull-ups, right? Then you are one of the few in the world. You are top elite athletes, right? And especially, right, if you wanted to do it to build muscle, like the reason that you see a lot of people doing skills that are skinny is because those people, right, the best people, they want to stay skinny, right? Because a lighter body is going to give you greater relative strength when it comes to the skills. So if you have less body weight, you have to carry less weight, literally, right, in your skills. So it's going to be lighter. So many people training skills, they stay light on purpose. But if you want to build muscle, right, you should eat enough. And if you eat enough, doing the skills is going to put on a lot of muscle because you're putting high loads on your muscle at all times. Basically, like a planche and a front lever will basically take care of everything in your upper body except for maybe some chest. So if you want like a bigger chest, do some, accessories with some normal push-ups, like some pump stuff. But other than that, like big shoulders, big back, big rear delts, big delts in general, right? Some abs, obliques, whatever. The fucking skills will take care of it because you're putting high stress on your body, like strength-wise, right? The skill requires strength. So you're building strength. Building strength is gonna get you jacked, stacked, succulent, and dense, a big, juicy, thick boy. Just have to eat enough. And, like I said, a lot of people stay skinny because they choose to do so. But if you want to get big, you have to eat big, right? That's what they say. So I'm going to do a bit of a warm-up set here. I feel fucking heavy today. I already had work, and lower back is shot as well from squatting a lot, but let's make it work anyway today. I am more focused on volume than I am on intensity, which will mean a lot of short sets, but focus on a lot, right? A lot of short sets. I'm gonna start with the usual 5 sets of 11 pull-ups, but after that, let's get some hold volume in the system. I'm not gonna go too heavy on the pull-ups, no extra weight on the feet, but it's gonna be fun nonetheless. Alright, fuck. Weak as shit today, but you wanna know a fun fact here? Like when you add weight to the front lever, or any skill basically, you're adding load to your entire body. And the strain on your body becomes very big, right? However, if you want to increase the difficulty of whatever you're doing without really increasing the strain on your body, what you can do is oftentimes just do a more difficult variation. For example, here I'm doing some wide pull-ups, which are way more difficult for me than normal pull-ups, right? But the strain on my body, recovery-wise, is not really bigger because I'm not adding even more weight, right? I'm staying at the same weight and the load is just transferring to different muscles, oftentimes smaller muscles, because I'm pulling in a different way. And by transferring the load to smaller muscles, right, it becomes more difficult. I feel like I have to hold on for dear life, but at the same time, those smaller muscles are easy to recover, right? When they're tired, they recover quite easily because it's only a small muscle. So that's a bit of a life hack right there. All right, 2 more sets. Feels heavy as fuck though. Hasn't felt this difficult in a while. Alrighty, and so after some atrocious sets of front lever pull-ups, we are moving on to holds. And I say atrocious sets, but what I really mean is they weren't as good as last time, which it's been a while since that happened. But when I look back, like a few months, 2 months, 3 months, right? Not even that. Today's bad day is way better than a good day a few months ago. And if that's the case for you, right? You're having a bad day, having a bad training, you feel weak, look back a couple of months, right? And if today's bad training is better than a good day on a couple of months ago, right? Then you're heading in the right direction. And if it's not the case, well, then maybe you should train harder, maybe you should take care more of your recovery, your sleep, your food, whatever, right? If you're not getting stronger, like on the span of a few months, then you have a problem. But like I said, if you're just having a training that's worse than the last training you had, don't sweat it. It happens, right? You try to go harder than last time every time, but sometimes you fail. And like that's normal. And also, I guess part of the fun, right? If you are heading into training, guaranteed success 100% of the time, then why the fuck would you even do it in the first place, right? I mean, sometimes you're gonna have a setback, and that's okay. But, I mean, not to be too negative, right? Today was not a setback. I just felt a bit weak. But anyway, let's move on to some holds. Like I mentioned in the beginning, today is gonna be more focused on volume than it is gonna be on intensity. So I'm not gonna do intense sets, right? Going to my limit, but I'm gonna do a lot of short sets, 20 sets to be precise. I am gonna do EMOM for 20 minutes, so every minute on a minute, 1 set for a 10-second hold. And basically, I want this to be kind of like cardio, right? I want to feel kind of comfortable in the front lever, so I hope I am not too weak. But basically, the point here is to build work capacity without going to my maximum. You know, I did quite a hard training last time on the holds, which may affect today on the pull-ups as well, right? But I want to kind of recover from that and keep, capacity building up at the same time. So that's why I am doing loads of shorter sets, sub maximum, not even like 30% even, to be honest. But let's go. 20 minutes of relaxed cardio with the front lever. Okay, mission failed only got 10 sets and I didn't actually go to failure, but I could feel that like the 10th set was gonna be my last set. So a bit disappointed, but at least the pump is not disappointing, holy shit. And to be honest, I don't really know why today of all days I feel so fucking weak. I mean, we did have quite a bit of horse cooking, a bit of intense trainings lately. I think last time as well I went to like maximum intensity on a lot of hold sets, and then some intense planche work combined with squatting daily. You know, maybe it was a bit too much, maybe it's just a combination of everything, but you know, one bad training does not determine the outcome of your training in the future. Today I lost the battle, but the war continues. And to be honest, like, okay, the training is not the outcome, but you gotta realize about training, right? Doing your training is the most important part. It's kind of like participating is more important than winning kind of situation, right? When you do your training, right, you have a chance to have a good training or a bad training, right? And the mindset going into that training is going to determine a lot about that outcome. So if you have a training and you feel tired from beforehand, and you then say like, oh, today's training is gonna suck, well, it's probably gonna suck, right? So never tell that to yourself. Never tell to yourself like, oh, today's training is gonna suck. So I didn't do that either today, right? I thought going today's training, feeling a bit tired, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna do 20 sets of holds easily. That was kind of the impression I had going into this training. And then you fail, right? But that's okay, because you still did what you had to do, right? You still went into the training, you did your best, right? You got a good pump, and basically your work is done, right? The only really loss, like the only real loss you can have in training is not training at all. And I feel like that's kind of the story of today. But yeah, also the story of the day is that I have to rest and recover a bit. Like today's training didn't really go as planned, but I'll make sure that I can compensate with some trainings in the future. So tomorrow is gonna be a leg day. Oh, I'm not gonna go light on the leg day. Like I'm doing squats every day for 30 days, so legs are top priority. But I'll make sure that I recover for the next back day somehow, and take a bit of revenge on today's one. So that's it for today, right? Quick reminder of quick recap of the intro, right? On the first talk is, if you want to build muscle, you gotta torture your muscles, right? You gotta put them through some shit, get them traumatized so that they can recover stronger, right? And I guess, like, also, right, referring to today's workout, whether you are feeling bad or good, you can just give your effort, right? Give all your effort, and that's enough to cause muscle growth. So, just give it your all, get some intense training sets into your body, and your muscles will start growing as long as you are eating enough, right? Remember that you will not grow muscle if you don't eat enough. So if you're training skills and you want to build muscle, don't be afraid to gain some weight. Yes, it will be more difficult, but you just have to overcome that with your mindset and your willingness to gain weight and train skills anyway. So that's it for today's training. I'm gonna take a shower, have some steak, and get recovered for the next pull day. God damn it. Because 20 sets, 10 seconds, it has to be easy. Easy clap.